Harley Davidson, one of the other big names to report quarterly results this morning. The company beating on the bottom line, but revenue was short of forecast. Harley also cutting its full-year motorcycle shipment forecast. Let's get some reaction now from James Hardiman, Managing Director at Wedbush Securities. James, great to have you with us. The shipment guidance cut was to levels not seen since 2009, 2010. What's your take on Harley's business right now?
Well, I would say domestically, where obviously the vast majority of their business is, they missed marginally. So domestic retail was down about 8%. I think the street was looking for more in the 5 to 6% range. That's not a massive disappointment. The bigger area of concern for me is in their international business. International was down 9% at retail. The street was modeling that to be up, and specifically EU sales were down 14%, as were sales out of Canada. So clearly there are bigger issues there, and that's really where the company is trying to grow and offset some of the weakness, some of the demographic weakness in the U.S. And at least in the second quarter, we didn't see that. We saw
and clearly, the tariffs that the EU placed on U.S.-built motorcycles impacted, but Harley indicated that the company obtained regulatory approvals that would be required to mitigate some of the incremental EU tariffs, but they got them late. So should we expect to see a little bit of a pickup going forward in Europe?
Well, keep in mind, when the tariffs were initially announced, Harley Davidson basically pledged to eat those costs, to absorb that cost. So they're paying the tariffs as opposed to the consumer paying them in Europe through price increases. So in theory, this shouldn't have impacted demand. Now, I guess the secondary question with regards to tariffs is whether or not that's having an impact on Harley Davidson's brand, right? We are essentially in a trade war with continental Europe. And so as a company that essentially sells Americana, you have to ask yourself whether or not that's impacting demand for their bikes.
James, that just seems like we talk about things that are sad. It's kind of sad to me. It's just the demo issues surrounding Harley just seem insurmountable.
You mean the aging of
the
people who buy the higher priced
motorcycles? The people that I see, they literally look like Willie Nelson, most of the guys I see on that. I mean, Willie Nelson's age, too, or what the Harley guys look like now. I mean, do any millennials, do they want to buy a chopper or a Harley? It just seems like a really sort of a dying breed almost, the Harley.
Well, it really is. It is the age-old question for Harley. Are they able to bring in millennials at such a pace that they're able to offset lost sales from baby boomers who are obviously approaching retirement age? I think the second quarter numbers would suggest that math has thus far been pretty unfavorable. But I think it also points to a number of the product initiatives that the company is undertaking. Next month, they're going to be coming out with a new electric motorcycle. Next year, they're going to be getting into what's called the adventure touring segment, which has been a growing part of the market. They have another bike called the Street Fighter that's going to be coming out over the next year or two. And they're looking to expand internationally with smaller bikes being made in Asia. But it's certainly not an easy equation for Harley Davidson to solve.
It seems like too little too late almost. I mean, you could have seen those mobility trends coming from a mile away, James, and yet you're talking about introducing smaller bikes in emerging markets next year when, China had a love of e-bikes, I would say a decade ago.
Yeah, that's correct. And the million-dollar question is, are they going to be able to solve this equation, to fix this problem before the next recession? I don't know if it's too little too late, but this is now going to be the fourth year, I believe, of domestic retail declines, and so they've got to solve it quickly because they are running out of runway, at least during this economic cycle.